Hey everyone, it's Miss Joyce. Today we'll be doing measurement conversions. Here we're going to start by converting weeks to days. We can see we're starting with 1 week and we want to rewrite this as the number of days. So what we can do is create a table. At the start on the left of our table, we're going to put weeks since that's the unit we're starting in. The end of the table on the right side is going to be days because that's the unit we're ending in. Let's look here at our reference sheet to see how many days are in 1 week. When we're looking at the time portion of our reference sheet, we can see that there are 7 days in 1 week. So every time that we multiply from weeks to figure out how many days there are, we're going to be multiplying by 7. So let's say there's 1 week. To find out how many days there are, we're going to multiply 1 times 7 to get 7. So in 1 week, there are 7 days. Now let's try for 2 weeks. Same thing, multiply 2 times 7 to get 14 days. Finally, we're going to have here 5 weeks. You could keep going in order if you want so that we could create more parts of this table that would go 3, 4, and then 5. Or you can skip straight to the 5th week. Same pattern, we're going to multiply 5 times 7 to get 35 days. So in 5 weeks, there are 35 days. Now let's try going from hours to minutes. Same thing, let's start with the table. On the left is going to be hours, since that's the unit we're starting in. And in the right, it's going to be minutes, since that's the unit we're ending in. Same thing, let's look at our reference sheet to see how many minutes are in 1 hour. And we can see there are 60 minutes in every hour. So every time we figure out how many hours we're starting with, we'll be multiplying by 60 to see how many minutes that's equivalent to. So if we have 1 hour times 60 minutes per hour equals 60 minutes. So 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. Let's say we have 2 hours. Same pattern, multiply 2 times 60, and that gets us 120. So that means in 2 hours, there are 120 minutes. Finally, let's skip ahead to 4 hours. So here we have 4 hours. We'll multiply that by 60. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 times 60 is 240. In 4 hours, there are 240 minutes. Now let's try using the metric conversions to help us convert. So here we're starting with 1 and 500 meters, and we want to figure out how many centimeters that's equal to. Same thing, we'll start with the table. We'll put meters on the left since that's the unit we're starting in, and centimeters on the right since that's the unit we're ending in. So what we're going to do is use the mnemonic device to help us realize what we're going to be multiplying by at the top here. So this mnemonic device stands for kilos, hectos, deca, units such as meters, liters, and grams, deci, centi, and milli. To help us remember this order, we can use the mnemonic device: king, Henry, died, unusually, drinking, chocolate, milk. This helps us when we're rewriting within metric conversions. So let's see, we're starting in meters. So here we're in meters. We're going to be going over 2 places to get to centimeters. cm stands for centimeters. Each time we go over, we're going to be multiplying by 10. So here we have 10 times 10, which is 100. So that means for every meter, there are 100 centimeters. So let's see here. For 1 meter, we would multiply 1 times 100 to get 100 centimeters. But we don't have 1 meter. We have 1 and 500 meters. Same thing. We're going to be multiplying 1 and 500 times 100. Let's use this place value chart to help us. We can put 1 and 500 in the place value chart here. The ones in the ones place, the zeros in the tenths, and the fives in the hundredths. When we're multiplying by 100, we are going to be shifting each digit 2 places to the left to make our number larger. So we're going to be moving that 1 that's currently in the ones place to the hundreds place. The 0 is going to shift 2 places to the tens place, and the 5 is going to shift 2 places to the ones place. So our answer is 105. So in 1 and 500ths meters, there are 105 centimeters. And that makes sense since 1 and 500ths is just a little bit bigger than 1 meter, and 105 centimeters is just a little bit bigger than 100 centimeters. Let's try another problem. Here we have 3 and 4 tenths meters rewritten as centimeters. Let's start with our table. We'll have the meters at the start because that's the unit we're starting in, and centimeters at the right because that's the unit we're ending in. We'll use our mnemonic device. King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. We're starting in meters, which is part of the unit, and we're going to centimeters. So that would be 1, 2 places over. So that's 10 times 10, which is 100. So once again, we'll be multiplying every meter times 100 to see how many centimeters that's equal to. So if we had 3 meters, for example, 3 times 100 is 300 centimeters. So we have 300 centimeters for every 3 meters. But we don't have 3 meters, we have 3 and 4 tenths meters. Same thing, let's multiply by 100. We can use the place value chart to help us. We'll place 3 and 4 tenths into our place value chart. And once again, we're multiplying by 100, so each digit is going to shift 1, 2 places to the left. So that 3 is going to be in the hundreds place, and the 4 is going to be in the tens place. Since there's nothing in the ones place, we're going to place a 0. So 3 and 4 tenths meters is the same as 340 centimeters. Here we have 2 and 1600ths kilograms, and we're going to rewrite this as grams. So in our table, we're going to start with kilograms because that's the unit we're starting with, and we're going to end with grams because that's the unit we're rewriting it as. Same thing, we want to figure out how many grams are in 1 kilogram, so we'll use our mnemonic device. King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. We're starting in kilograms, and we're going to grams, which is in the units. So we're starting in kilograms. We're going to go over 1, 2, 3 places. So that's 10 times 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000. So that means there are 1,000 grams in every kilogram. So if we had 1 kilogram, we would multiply 1 times 1,000 to get 1,000 grams. So there's 1,000 grams in every kilogram. But we have 2 and 1600ths kilograms. So we want to figure out how many grams that is. We'll multiply 2 and 1600ths times 1,000. Let's use our place value chart to help us. Here we have 2 and 1600ths in our place value chart. We're multiplying by 1,000, so each digit is going to shift 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So the 2 is now in the thousands place. The 1 is in the hundreds, and the 6 is in the tens. Since there's nothing in the ones place, we can place a 0. So 2 and 1600ths kilograms is the same as 2,160 grams. Let's try another one. We're going from kilograms to grams. Here we have 5 and 1200ths kilograms. We'll create our table. On the left we'll put kilograms, and on the right we'll put grams. Here we're going to use the mnemonic device again to help us. Once again, we're starting with kilograms, going to grams, which is a unit. So we're going to go over 1, 2, 3 places. That's 10 times 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000. So we'll be multiplying by 1,000. If we had 1 kilogram times 1,000, we would get 1,000 grams. But we have 5 and 1200ths kilograms. We're going to multiply 5 and 1200ths times 1,000. Let's use our place value chart to help us. Here we have 5 and 1200ths on our place value chart. Each digit is going to move over 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So the 5 is now in the thousands place, the 1 is in the hundreds, the 2 is in the tens place, and we're going to put a 0 in the ones place since there's nothing there. So 5 and 1200ths kilograms is the same as 5,120 grams. All right, let's try converting from yards to feet. Here we're going to start with a table. We'll put yards on the left and feet on the right. Here we want to use our reference sheet to help us know how many feet are in 1 yard. We can see here that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So we're going to be multiplying each yard by 3 feet. If we had 1 yard times 3, we would have 3 feet. So there are 3 feet in every yard. But we want to know for 4 feet. So 4 times 3 is 12. So that means there are 12 feet in 4 yards. If we wanted to find out for 4 and 6/10 feet, or 4 and 6/10 yards, we would multiply this by 3. So let's do that here. 3 times 6 is 18. So we'll put the 8 here, regroup the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 we regrouped is 13. Since our number here is in the tenths place and we're multiplying by the ones, our answer is going to be in the tenths place. So our answer is 13 and 8/10. For every 4 and 6/10 yards, there's 13 and 8/10 feet. Let's try one more. Here we're converting from pounds to ounces. We'll start with our table, starting with pounds and going to ounces. Let's use our reference sheet to see how many ounces are in every pound. We can see there are 16 ounces in each pound, so we're going to be multiplying by 16. Here we have 1 pound times 16 is 16 ounces. But we don't want to know for 1 pound, we want to know for 3 pounds. 3 times 16 is 48. So in 3 pounds, there are 48 ounces. Now let's check for 3 and 5/10. We'll multiply 3 and 5/10 times 16. Here, we're going to first do 6 times 5 to get 30. So we'll place the 0 here, regroup the 3. Now we'll do 6 times 3 to get 18, plus 3 to get 21. We can cross off this 3 since we've already used it. Before we start multiplying, we're going to put a 0 down here. Now we can multiply 1 times 5 to get 5, and 1 times 3 to get 3. Now let's add these two products together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 5 is 6. And 2 plus 3 is 5. Here we have the tenths place times the ones, which gets us tenths, so that 0 needs to be in the tenths place. We can place the decimal here between the 6 and the 0, so the 0 is in the tenths place. So our answer is going to be 56. So if we have 3 and 5/10 pounds, that's the same as having 56 ounces.